everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today, I am going to talk to you about control. Part of why we put systems in is to be able to control the outcome for both our staff members and our guests. And part of the thing that I see way too many operators not think about is the fact that they don't put the controls in place and then they don't get the outcomes that they're looking for. So, specifically, we're going to talk about why so many of you guys feel like you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off day in and day out instead of actually running your business. I see it all over the place. Every time I talk to a restaurant operator, the biggest thing I ask when I ask, how are you doing, is busy. The ultimate benefit of running your own business is having control of what it is that you're looking for and being able to get the outcome that you're looking for. And the only way that you can do that is with controls. And so they'll talk about their staffing problems. They'll talk about their inventory problems. They'll talk about guest complaints. They'll talk about vendors that didn't do what they were supposed to do, a credit card batch that didn't deposit, all of those kind of things. They're constantly all over the place trying to figure out what it is going to take to get control back in their business. Before you know it, they've spent their entire week reacting and chasing problem to problem before they actually can go solve it. In my 30th year of doing this, the problem has not gotten any better. It's actually gotten worse for those operators that are struggling with it. But those operators that have gotten to a place where they are putting the controls in place, they are winning. Most restaurants don't have a problem with their staff. They don't really even have a customer problem most times. They don't have a food quality problem. A lot of them have a systems problem. We constantly talk about the different systems that you need to put in on the show. And the restaurants that feel chaotic are oftentimes the ones that haven't invested properly in the systems that are going to make them successful. And the restaurants that are successful are the ones that have dug into the systems that they have managed them, they've organized them, they've made measurable goals and objectives so that they can get to a place where they're in control of their business and they're not running around playing whack-a-mole day after day. In today's show, we're going to talk about the 5 systems that every single restaurant needs and what you need to do to implement them. If you don't know me, my name is Julian. I've spent 30 years in the restaurant tech space, building out a company that sells multi-unit restaurant technology called CBS North Star. I also have over 300 podcast episodes where I've interviewed many of the leading experts in the space to talk about how systems can continue to make your life better as a restaurant owner. If you haven't already subscribed, I would encourage you to do so because every week we're delivering at least 1, if not 2, valuable episodes on how you can run your restaurant better. The first system that I see people have in their restaurant but don't necessarily use is sales and reporting systems. In the age of AI and all we continue to do, we continue to see that their point of sale is collecting data, whether your system is Square, Toast, North Star, Aloha, Micros, PosiTouch, whatever. The system is collecting the data, but you are not doing anything other than using it as a very expensive cash register. I got into a conversation with a friend and a colleague of mine who runs very successful restaurants. And he was actually an absentee owner for quite some time because he put systems in place and would talk about the fact that with the proper systems, you can get the visibility to the tools and the metrics that you're looking for to run your business. What menu items are selling? What items are driving the most amount of profitability? What are the ones that are tying up your kitchen and causing you to have problems with your guest satisfaction? What are the hours that you need to be staffing to the proper level? What store is doing well? What shift is performing well? How do you correlate who's working that shift to be able to make those things happen? What promotions are actually driving the revenue increase or the decrease? Here's the thing. When you've got good reporting and you look at it day in and day out, week over week, month over month, year over year, you can figure out what are the trends? What are the things that you're looking to do to be able to drive those things? You can tell which items are causing you the pain and suffering versus which items are the ones that you are driving the guest satisfaction that are driving the business. Again, reporting is a huge piece that I would tell everyone to look at. And I'm going to challenge every one of our listeners out there because I think oftentimes we get I didn't open up a restaurant to be able to look at my reports. And at the end of the day, I would agree that that's not why you opened up the restaurant. But the reports oftentimes are telling that you can take those reports and they can drive the reason that you opened the business. Why are you going and creating the jobs that you're creating? Why are you going and dealing with the guest satisfaction that you're dealing with? Why are you driving the behavior that ultimately cause you to open the restaurant in the first place or to expand to that second or third or fourth location. The second system really goes back to our prime cost of inventory. And really, I think all too many people, they know what they're spending on their total food costs. I would say that 30 years ago and even 20 years ago, building out a food cost package was extremely difficult. But in the age of AI and with all of the new tools that are in place, I would say that it has gotten so much easier to at least understand your inbound cost for inventory and your outbound outlay for what you're paying for those items. There's tons of systems out on the market that are out there that will build your inventory worksheets, that will build your counting sheets for you, that will build your items. Years ago, when I started, you used to have to sit and take a physical invoice from a supplier and go enter all of those items. Nowadays, with AI, optical carriage recognition or character recognition, OCR, they can pull in those invoices with a photograph from your phone and build out your inventory items, your pack sizes, the items that are there. And then all you need to do is go walk your dry storage, go walk your walk-in, go walk your freezer, and you can build your count sheets that are out there. The idea of not having an inventory system in 2026 and beyond is baffling to me with the way that these tools have gotten so much easier not only to build out, but to manage. Again, more and more of our partners, we've had many of them on the show that have come in and talked about these things, but your oftentimes your highest cost item within your restaurant is your food cost. And so having a strong inventory system that tracks your ingredient usage, your pricing from your suppliers, your portioning sizes, your waste, the levels of stock that you have on your shelf, understand what those true food costs are, not just this nebulous number that says I take my total invoices and I divide them by my sales and now I've got a food cost number. The end of the day, the second most critical piece that I would say outside of, first is reports. The second is inventory, making sure that you understand how much you're spending, what's selling, what's not selling. Are you using too much of it? Are you using too little of it? Any of those kind of things. Huge, huge, huge piece. And again, I would tell you, any one of our restaurant operators out there, the systems have gotten so much easier to use, so much easier to implement, so much easier to put together that I would encourage you guys to take a look at it. The third system, and again, this is your second, oftentimes your second highest prime cost, and sometimes in certain regions is even higher than your food cost, which is staff management. Understanding how much staff you have on, what your labor costs are, who's on staff, who's doing well, who's not doing well. Staffing typically isn't just about hiring. And yes, currently a lot of people are struggling to get the right amount of people in, but even in that, oftentimes it's figuring out how to have the right people in the right spots at the right time to be able to manage the guest and manage the workload. Having a schedule that works, clear roles and responsibilities, a training process to get people up to speed, communication tools to keep everybody on the same page so you don't have no call, no shows. Having a staffing system in place is huge. When your people know what you're looking for them to do, the operation is going to run smoother. Your managers are going to be able to run the shift appropriately. Your staff is going to be able to take care of your guests. Your staff is going to be able to communicate with each other if they can't make it for a shift. They'll be able to have the systems in place to be able to drive the operational behavior. So the third system really comes back down to people management, managing staffing, managing scheduling, managing turnover, managing training, managing all of the things related to the employees that you have on your team. Many of you guys have great team members, but if you don't put a system in place to manage them appropriately, you're going to get high turnover, you're going to get bad guest experience, and ultimately you're going to be stuck working in the line or working in the front of the house one Friday night because you didn't set up the system properly. The fourth system I would encourage all of you to look at is a system for guest feedback. There's tons of different systems out there. We love systems like Tattle and Ovation for guest feedback, but even something as simple as your Google reviews and your Yelp reviews to understand and have a system in place that says once a week, once a day, somebody's spending 15 minutes a day to understand what's going on with that. And then what are they doing with that? What are they doing with the feedback? First and foremost, they need to be getting back to the guests, but secondarily, what are they doing with that feedback? Are they bringing it back to the business and changing what it is that caused that guest satisfaction problem? Oftentimes, the restaurants struggle. A lot of times we look at it and say, you know what? If you're not responding to those guests, they're going to go elsewhere. There's more opportunities to find different restaurant experiences in every city and every state and every community. Understanding what your guests are saying to you, they've taken the time to give you feedback on whatever system it is that you're using. Again, online ordering, your review system, your loyalty system, your guest feedback system. There's so many different systems out there that you guys can implement for little or no cost, but understanding what they're doing and then doing something with it so that you can not only encourage the good behavior of the things that you guys do well, but also fixing the problems that you might have. If you've got a service problem and it constantly comes up that Susie's the problem in this station, going back to that third system that we've got of labor management, understanding that Susie shouldn't be working the Friday night shift when you're the busiest, fixing a menu item that constantly is coming out and they're saying it's too salty. I have a real life experience from a friend of mine who runs a restaurant in New York City, and the recipe called for kosher salt. For those of you guys that aren't culinary experts out there, kosher salt versus ionized salt. Ionized salt comes out way saltier. He was able to fix within 48 hours a guest satisfaction problem by listening to what the guests were giving him feedback on, because the kitchen staff had used ionized salt instead of kosher salt to salt their fries. So understanding what your guests are saying, getting feedback, and driving that behavior back into the business to fix it is the fourth system that everybody out there needs to have. The fifth and final system that I would encourage you to consider is, what is your marketing plan? What are you doing to drive more guests in? Is it a random post that you're posting on Instagram or Facebook or X or TikTok? Or do you have a system that you've got constant data going out to guests? We've talked about it on many of the shows before. Without having a social media presence, people don't know what to expect from your brand. They don't know what your limited time offers are. They don't know what the items are that you're coming out with that you think people need to be engaging with. They don't know who your staff is. So having a marketing system that is going to continue to put your brand in the best light is a huge piece, but it has to be a system. It has to be consistent. It has to be talking about what it is your brand stands for. What are the things that you're doing? What are the promos that you're running? What are the campaigns you're running? What are the reasons to come in and engage? It can't be just throw it up against the wall and hope it sticks. And I hear a lot of restaurant owners out there saying, well, I posted on social media 3 times and nobody came in. Number one, I would encourage you to say, you don't know that for sure, because people aren't walking in saying, hey, I heard about you on Instagram and now I'm coming in. Number two, consistency over time to be in front of those guests. Oftentimes they say in marketing, you need to hear from a brand 7 to 10 times before you would even consider engaging with them. And I think more and more often having a system, and it doesn't always have to be you. I have a lot of owners out there that we talk with that do like to be that face of the brand, but it could be something that you guys use, different tools that are out there to be able to help with it. There's really low cost systems out there to help you drive engagement and to push things out there. The thing that we say on almost every single show that I would tell you, you also have to have as far as a system, and this is a bonus, is a point of sale system. A point of sale system that is manageable, that is scalable, that will allow you to measure all of the top 5 systems that we already talked about. What are the things that are working? What are the things that are not working? What are those systems that you've put in place? Are they driving the sales behavior? Are they driving the guest engagement behavior? Are they driving the operational freedom and the clarity to get you outside of the restaurant so you can be working on your business, not necessarily in your business? A restaurant without systems is chaos, but a restaurant with systems in place that are well managed, well orchestrated, and well deployed make all the difference in the world. I would tell you, if you aren't already subscribed to the show, I would encourage you to do so, because we talk about these systems. I continue to bring you guys brands that are doing these things well. What are the systems that they're putting in place? We talk to restaurant operators, we talk to restaurant technologies that are implementing marketing systems, that are implementing staffing systems. We've talked to different guests out there that are putting in guest feedback system. I would encourage you continue to look for the systems that are out there. Look for any of these 5 systems. If you don't have them, you are letting the business run you, and you're running around playing whack-a-mole. If you have these systems in place, and the first is a sales and reporting system, the second is an accounting and cost management system, the third is a staff management system, labor management, HR management, the fourth is customer feedback, and the fifth is something to grow your sales in the form of sales and marketing. putting those systems in place so that you can spend more time proactively working on your business and driving the guest behavior that you're looking for, and less time reacting, running around playing whack-a-mole. Thanks for joining us today, and make it a great day.